Well, good evening. I'm Epstein, and here we are with your metal market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for the evening of Wednesday, the 10th of April, 2024. And we're at 6:10 p.m. Central Time. Now, there was a lot going on today. Let's go to the news first, and then we'll come back and talk markets. For tomorrow, let's get there first. You get the European Central Bank monetary policy decision at 7:15 with a press conference right after that. You get jobless claims at 7:30 in the morning. They're looking for them to come in around 217,000. But the real report that people will be focused on will be the PPI number for the U.S. economy, and certainly for Europe, they'll be looking at what Ms. Lagarde has to say. In our number, just keep in the back of your mind that PPI often comes in cooler than CPI. And when we mention CPI, well, by now I hope you understand that it came in hot in every category. And because of that heat, that's 3 in a row, traders said, well, I can understand the Fed saying we're going to get a bump in the road, but 3 of anything starts making a trend. And that is what the traders are fearful of, that the economy is so strong, labor so strong, we're going up. It's interesting when you look at the components that made it up. Shelter costs didn't drop enough. And if you specifically look at cars, auto insurance, it's up 22% on average already this year. So you're getting a big boost out of that. Home insurance, as we know in many parts of the country, has exploded in cost if you can get it. We are seeing used car prices fall and new car prices fall. There are components. And if you counted how many of the different categories were in the report, and all of my subscribers, by the way, get the report from me. They were all sent it today. You see that just over a third now have inflation under 3%. So underneath the hood, way down as you dig in, you start seeing these numbers start falling. Now, that's not a majority. It's a third, which means 2/3 are still running hot. Please remember that. Then the other event that happened is energy. Everything was down until reports started to hit the news wires that it appears that an imminent strike by Iran or its proxies against Israel is to take place. We hear that all the time. But then when I saw Lufthansa Airlines was canceling all flights to and from Iran, that did the job for me. Now you get a major airline saying they don't want to fly there. That's telling me it's another level. Does it have to happen? Of course not. If the element of surprise is there, well, it's not a surprise. If the element of surprise to get civilians out of the way is there, that could be it. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. But U.S. immediately stood up and said, if from Iran, they fire missiles at Israel, Israel has the absolute right to defend itself. And Israel immediately said it will fire back at Iranian assets in Iran. So do we get that far? Does Iran use its proxies? Don't know. But that's why energy's got a late in the day bid. When that came out, all this started lifting it, and the gold market was able to stand up with that. That's what's behind that. As you can see tonight, you're dropping again. You had, as we've been getting, some short covering rallies late in the day in the stock indices, but they're giving all that up right now. Gold is staying strong with the bid, and I think you're just waiting like this, and the energy is going, is something going to happen or not? That becomes the play. A little bit of a bid in the aftermarket coming into bonds and notes, but understand where they went. They soared today in rates, and maybe the market's looking and saying, okay, if the PPI comes in cooler, maybe that tames down some of what we just saw. I'll talk more about all that in my financial update tonight. In the gold market for the week, you're still up 0.17%. You can see what the market did today. You would think it rallied. It was actually lower. And tonight it's up $4, all right? But when you take a look at what the market did, and we'll come back one day here, you can see the market was down $14. It didn't feel like it. It felt like it was higher because it was able to bounce from there. And if you watch the energies, you got that impression. But you've got the pattern, higher lows, higher highs, which is bullish. The market's over the 18-day average. If inflation's strong, that's bullish. What hurt the market to a degree is the strong dollar. And that dollar strength, I don't think is going away. Yes, it can back off a little bit, but I think you've locked in the dollar strength for the near term now. And I think that what we saw today was currencies let go to the downside, dollar to the upside, and now we're going to wait on the Bank of Japan to see, do they do any intervention? Is the market backing off from the upper band? It is. Do I think the traders will buy that break? As long as you keep the embedded reading, yes. I think they'll buy on, if you're a daily chartist. The weekly chart, you got a different problem, but I cover that in my subscriber videos. When we look at the gold-silver ratio, down to new lows on the move recently. So silver's still stronger than the gold. And the answer is you need less ounces of silver to get an ounce of gold. Silver, too, backing off a little bit. Does it have the embedded reading? Well, you cannot count tonight. So let's get rid of Thursday's trade. But both numbers were over 80 on the close there. They were that way on Tuesday. And were they that way on Monday? Yeah, so you got your 3 days. Now, prior to that, it wasn't. So now that it's embedded, yes, I think that the pros will buy this market until they get to the point where the red line's under 79, and then they'll back away from the marketplace. In the copper, you have the embedded readings, same thing. So all the metals here will probably look really hard at PPI in the morning, and if PPI is cool, I think you probably get bids in these markets. We'll see what goes on. And obviously, if Iran or its proxies attack Israel while we're sleeping in America, who knows what you wake up to in the morning. In the platinum market, higher lows, higher highs, overbought at this time. And look what this dollar did. This gives you an idea. Remember I said yesterday, we had a market that fell into the major support of the 18-day average. It's from there the market decides what it wants to do. And I think you'd agree with me. There's your break to it. And here's what it did. It said, I'm going to a new high on this move. And it's exactly what it just did. Where did it stop? You notice the Bollinger Band where it stopped? I think that's pretty interesting. You're going to see these Bollinger Bands are doing its job, especially if you tie them together with the momentum index, the way that I use slow stochastics in my modification in that formula. If you'd like to learn what we're doing here, it's so darn simple. All you need to do, by the way, is you go to our website, iraepstein.com. Under the word education, the Bollinger Band course is there. You can watch this video coming up, and you can at any point move your cursor to the top up here. There'll be an icon that shows through the ad and everything about the Bollinger Bands. Just give it a click. It'll take you right to the course. I'm Ira. You have yourself a great day. I will talk to you all tomorrow. Welcome. I'm Ira Epstein, and I'm here to talk about my enhanced Bollinger Band course. Now, many of you have taken my regular charting course, and if not, you might think you know something about Bollinger Bands. As you know, Bollinger Bands are an algorithm designed to keep the market trading within it 95% of the time, and on a chart, it will offer on the top part resistance, on the bottom support, and the idea is the market will travel within them. We know that sometimes it latches onto that band, goes up or goes down. Well, how do you play with that? Can you pyramid the positions off that type of thinking? Well, I've applied all three of these into 13 different videos that teach you my concept of it. And from that concept, you're able to work with weekly charts and or daily charts. The 13 videos, each about 7 minutes long. The idea here is not to put you in school forever, but to teach. Now, if you haven't tried my complete futures research, I throw that in as well. Whether you've tried this or not, I think it's worth taking a look at. I think you're going to learn something from there. That research, by the way, covers twice daily market updates for you and access to what I call window envelope numbers, which I think are very important when looking at these Bollinger Bands. The next part is a trial to our charting software so you can make your charts look the same way that mine do. It's that simple. Where do you go with it and how do you get all this? It's simple. You go to our website, www.iraepstein.com. If you go to the word education, everything you need is answered there. You can also call my staff. They'll be happy to help you get set up. I'm Ira Epstein on the road to your education.